We're taking a bit of a shortcut today, and it's, you know, probably one of the most efficient ways to really get a handle on where a big company is headed.
Right?
Instead of digging through hours of dense analyst Q&A and all those financial slides, we are just cutting straight to the chase.
Exactly. Our focus is completely on the strategic opening remarks from Williams-Sonoma's CEO, Alber.
After their Q3 2025 earnings.
Yeah. And doing this, it eliminates all the noise. You get this crystal clear, unfiltered view of their strategic priorities, straight from the top.
So our mission today is to distill her entire playbook down into 3 core pillars that are, they're really driving every decision there right now.
Okay.
First, a really committed strategy to get back to positive growth. Second, elevating the customer experience. And third, aggressively driving earnings, mostly through tech.
And just looking at the Q3 headline, you can see that focus is already paying off.
Right.
They reported an accelerating positive top-line comp and, continued to outperform on profitability. And they did all this in what is still a very, very challenging macro environment.
Okay, so let's unpack that Q3 scorecard. Because, a lot of people who track retail really thought they would struggle, and yet they delivered a comp of 4% in Q3.
Yeah, and that 4% comp wasn't just above expectations. The strength was pervasive. It was driven by positive comps across all of their brands.
All of them. That's a key sign of health.
It is. And then on the profitability side, the numbers are just as strong. The operating margin hit 17%, which is an expansion of 10 basis points year over year.
Wait, okay, let's just clarify that for everyone listening. When you say operating margin expanding 10 basis points, what is it, what does that actually look like for the company?
It's a critical sign of rising efficiency. It means the percentage of revenue they keep as profit after covering all their operating costs, payroll, rent, logistics, all of that is actually growing.
So their bottom line is getting stronger even faster than their top line sales.
Exactly, which led to an earnings per share of $1.96. That's a 5% jump from last year.
That is impressive. But here's the tough part of the analysis. What makes these results so hard to achieve right now? The CEO mentioned some pretty big headwinds.
Yeah, the headwinds were basically twofold. First, you've got the general geopolitical uncertainty, which just affects how consumers feel about spending money.
Sure.
But the big one, especially for a home retailer, is the second point. She acknowledged no substantive improvement in the housing market.
Right. So home sales, new construction, all the things that usually drive demand for furniture and decor are basically flat.
Flat or even declining.
Yeah.
So if the tide is going out and Williams-Sonoma is still swimming forward with a 4% comp.
And they have to be taking market share directly from competitors. That's the real story here, isn't it?
Absolutely. The CEO was very clear on this. The entire home furnishings industry actually declined in Q3. Their growth is, they claim, all about market share gains.
So with that kind of confidence, how is their forward guidance looking?
They're very confident. They reiterated their full-year guidance for comparable revenue growth, somewhere in that 2% to 5% range. But, and this is key, they're raising their bottom-line guidance.
By how much?
By 40 basis points. They're now projecting an operating margin between 17.8% and 18.1%. They fully expect to keep outperforming.
Okay, so that brings us right to priority 1, the engines of growth. If the macro environment is stuck, where are they actually forcing this growth to happen?
Without a doubt, the physical retail channel was the absolute star of the show. Their physical stores ran an, and I'm quoting here, exceptional positive comp of 8.5% in Q3.
An 8.5% comp in brick and mortar in 2025. That almost flies in the face of the whole retail apocalypse narrative.
It really does.
So what specific investments did the CEO credit this to?
It's a really dedicated, sustained investment in the physical experience. You mentioned 4 things. An improved in-store feel, enhanced personalized design services, better inventory availability in the stores, and then just physically refreshing the store portfolio.
How many stores are we talking about?
They've opened or remodeled 14 so far this year, with another 7 planned for Q4.
I remember the CEO calling the stores brand billboards. That tells you the ROI isn't just about the sales you make in that moment.
Exactly. The refreshed stores, they're in good high-traffic locations, and they act as these tangible, high-touch marketing tools that lift up the whole brand, digital included. It's a fully integrated model.
So it differentiates them from the pure e-commerce players who just don't have that physical connection?
That's the idea.
Okay, beyond the retail comeback, where's the product growth coming from?
Well, the core brands are seeing good momentum in big-ticket items, like furniture. But they're also pushing into what you might call white space categories.
Like what?
Things like Pottery Barn Dorm and West Elm Kids, it's all about capturing that customer earlier in their life.
And what about the B2B segment? That's got to be a huge growth engine when consumer spending gets a little shaky.
It is, and it delivered. The B2B business was up a really strong 9% in Q3. And what's interesting there is they're just leveraging their existing design expertise and applying it to the commercial world.
So they're furnishing offices and hotels now.
Exactly. They have a huge advantage in offering commercial-grade but high-design products, which helps them win both with interior designers and in those bigger contract jobs.
That makes a ton of sense. So what about the smaller emerging brands? Rejuvenation, Mark and Graham, Green Row, are they finally paying off?
It really seems like it. Collectively, those smaller brands delivered a double-digit comp. Rejuvenation in particular is doing exceptionally well. They just opened their 13th store, this one in Salt Lake City.
And Green Row, that's their newest one, right? Focused on sustainability.
Yeah, strong growth there. They just launched their largest holiday collection to date. And the big tell here, the strategic takeaway, is that management explicitly said they're looking to test retail store locations for Green Row soon.
So they incubate it online, prove the concept, and then roll out the brand billboard retail strategy.
That's the playbook.
Okay, a very clear plan for growth. Let's pivot now to priorities 2 and 3, which feel very linked, service and this necessary AI leap they're taking.
Right. Priority 2 is all about elevating customer service. The CEO's phrase was flawless execution. They're reporting record metrics this year.
And that means what exactly? Fewer damaged delivery?
Fewer split shipments, faster fulfillment, and orders delivered on time and damage-free. It's the unglamorous logistics work that actually makes high-end retail possible.
And that ties directly into priority 3, driving earnings, which is where the tech comes in. She called AI a key business driver, not just a buzzword. So how are they actually using it?
The results are pretty astounding, especially in customer support. They have AI-powered chat across all their brands now.
Okay.
And the key metric is this. Their AI agents are resolving over 60% of customer chats without any human help at all.
Wow.
This has slashed the average handle time how long an agent spends on a chat from 23 minutes down to just 5 minutes.
23 minutes down to 5. I mean, that's not just a small improvement. That is a radical cost reduction and probably a huge boost in customer satisfaction, too.
Precisely. That efficiency gain flows directly to the bottom line. But they also launched a new customer-facing app called Olive.
What's Olive?
It's for the Williams-Sonoma brand specifically. It's an AI culinary and shopping companion. It helps you plan meals, cook, shop, it packages all their decades of culinary expertise into an app.
It's interesting how the CEO frames their AI advantage. It's not just about having the best tech.
Right. She argues their AI is so powerful because it's built on 4 pillars that other companies just don't have.
Which are?
Proprietary data, their vertical integration, controlling everything from design to delivery, multi-channel engagement, and just their deep expertise in the home and culinary space. AI is just an amplifier for assets they already own.
So they're building a technology moat around a traditionally low-tech business?
That's the ambition, for sure.
Okay, let's move into our last section here and talk about some external pressures and the individual brands. We have to touch on tariffs. The update was pretty technical and a little confusing in the remarks. Can you simplify it for us?
I can try. So she noted new tariffs on things like imported upholstery and kitchen cabinets. However, the immediate net effect on their costs was what she called a push.
A push, meaning a wash.
A wash, exactly. Because the negative hit from those new tariffs was basically canceled out by a reduction in a separate existing set of tariffs, which dropped from 30% down to 28%.
So for now, the tariff pressure is kind of a constant, even if the specific products being hit are changing.
Correct. But they're not just sitting back. They have a very active 6-point plan to mitigate the impact of this, whatever happens with trade policy.
Okay, and what's in that plan?
The 6 points are getting cost concessions from vendors, resourcing goods to cheaper regions, making the supply chain more efficient, controlling internal costs, expanding their Made in the USA assortment, and finally, taking selective price increases.
I see a little bit of a tension there. Point 2 is about finding cheaper manufacturing overseas, but point 5 is about expanding Made in the USA. Aren't those pulling in opposite directions?
That's the really smart part about their multi-brand portfolio. They can do both. They can pursue lower cost sourcing for, say, certain high volume items, while at the same time doubling down on Made in the USA for their premium high margin brands like Pottery Barn, where that story really resonates with customers.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's look at the core brands then. Starting with Pottery Barn, they had a 1.3% comp.
Yeah, the CEO highlighted improvement in big-ticket items like furniture and lighting. But the major strategic news for Pottery Barn is a major change in how they do promotions.
What's the change?
They're substantially reducing them. It's a tough move in a down market, but it's all about protecting those high margins and the premium feel of the brand.
Right, prioritizing margin over pure volume.
Yeah.
How did Pottery Barn Children's do?
PB Children's saw a nice acceleration to a 4.4% comp. The big winner was their back-to-school and dorm business. It had double-digit growth. They've really become a destination for that.
And West Elm. That brand has been under the microscope for a while. It delivered a 3.3% comp.
Yeah, they're making slow, steady progress on their four pillars: product, brand heat, channel, and operations. They noted a big shift to new products, which is making the assortment feel fresher and better in-stock levels at stores. Management seems pretty optimistic, saying they look forward to returning to retail unit growth.
And finally, the flagship, Williams-Sonoma itself.
Still the powerhouse. A very, very strong 7.3% comp. This is all about premium product and, crucially, experiential retail.
Experiential, how so?
She highlighted high-profile collaborations, like the limited edition Le Creu's Wicked Collection Dutch ovens. They sold out instantly.
So they aren't just selling pots, they're selling an event, a cultural moment.
Exactly. And they're driving traffic by posting things like book signings in their stores. They had 42 of them, with people like Neil Patrick Harris and Melissa King. It turns the store into a hub and reinforces that brand billboard idea we talked about earlier.
And briefly, any global moves?
Just testing the waters in the UK. They launched Pottery Barn online there and opened a pop-up store inside a West Elm in London. A pretty efficient way to enter a new market.
Okay, so let's bring it all back. The summary of Q3 isn't just outperformance, it's very deliberate market share capture. It's driven by innovation and this high-touch service. The CEO's vision is to own the home and the places where our customers work, stay, and play.
Yeah, and if you synthesize all that, she's basically arguing that Williams-Sonoma is fundamentally different from a typical retailer. They're a company where tech investments like AI are uniquely amplified by their physical stores and their vertically integrated structure.
Right.
The whole system, logistics, service, tech, Eckhurch, all reinforces each other.
It really forces us to ask a tough, sort of provocative question then. Can this combination of high-touch service, retail investment, and advanced automation let them keep these high margins and keep gaining market share, even if the housing market stays completely stagnant for the next, couple of years?
It suggests they've strategically moved away from just riding the wave of the housing cycle. They've built their competitive moat on operational excellence and data. The housing market might be flat, but they're confident they can grow anyway just by being better than the competition. And for a furniture retailer, that's a huge analytical shift.
Absolutely. Well, that's a deep dive that gives you the CEO's strategic playbook for the coming quarters. We'd encourage you to explore those concepts further.